Hi, everybody, and welcome to our webinar with OnPrintShop and 4over, talking about how to transform that customer experience with the new integrated web to print featuring 4over. You see everybody's faces. We'll get some introductions. You have Christopher McKim from 4over, who's out on the wonderful West Coast. You have me, Trent Foreman, here in Central US, and you have Nimish back at OnPrintShop headquarters. He has the fun and exciting thing that's going to be going on, and that is actually showing you how this integration is going to be put together and how it's going to work. So yeah, we'll give a couple of minutes. Nimish is watching the control panel. We'll see how we have a lot of people going to be on this webinar today. Don't forget everything you do see. If you want to talk more, we'll say it at the very beginning. If you're going to be in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada in 2 weeks, come by and see us, and we'll let you put your hands on it and kind of see how it works in a real-time environment in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, where it will still be hot. So a little banter here at the very beginning, and Christopher, I know you've got some pieces talking about the 4over advantage coming up a little bit later on in our kind of presentation, but you know, lots of things being seen across the industry right now. What I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. What would you say is the biggest product category of what you see 4over providing to printers?
I think there are three main categories, Trent. Appreciate the question. You know, we have seen some incredible expansion in mailed products, primarily postcards. So direct mail and EDDM are really strong. I think it's a way that companies have used marketing to stay in front of their customers in a moment when a lot of us are more physically separated from each other. Grand format, so traditional signs, banners, even some specialty products are areas that always attract a lot of attention. They're bright and colorful and large, so the scale is a great marketing piece. I think certainly our embellished products have enjoyed a real uptick.
I've been looking at those. I'm especially curious to see those. So I want to thank everyone for joining. And if you're just jumping in, we've been kind of bantering, talking around, getting set. We've got a great presentation to put for you today. We're talking about how you want to transform your customer experience with the new integration from OnPrintShop into 4over. We're extremely excited that we've been able to build this relationship with one of the largest, most comprehensive trade printers in the US. And we're so thankful that we have representation here to talk about that. So talking about the three of us that you see on your screen today. So my name's Trent Foreman. I am the new regional sales manager for OnPrintShop here in North America. I'm joined today by Nimish Patel, our senior manager at OnPrintShop, and he has got the fun part. He's going to give you the live look at how this new integration is going to work, what it looks like in the admin and the back end of OnPrintShop. And then you just heard him talking, extremely pleased to have Christopher McKim. He's the director of enterprise sales with 4over, and he's going to be talking about the 4over advantage and really how this brings just that much more nice capabilities to your print shop, especially coming up in today's world. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. So first part, we want to talk a little bit about how this came about. We got some research as to why. We're going to ask you a couple of questions and why we really wanted to start building this working relationship. We'll talk about how we've upgraded the OnPrintShop and 4over API integration, added some key elements that I think will check the boxes that you're looking for. And what this will do is allow you to take those 3 steps to become really that one-stop web solution provider for both your retail and your corporate customers, because that's really what this is all about. It's how to grow your revenue. The highlight of this webinar is going to be Nimish, and he's going to walk you through what it looks like in the admin panel of OnPrintShop so that you can set it up, you can customize those products, you can push those products directly into 4over and from 4over into your storefront. And then we'll even take a look at what your customer is going to see. And then Christopher is going to be talking about how that, you know, using that impressive 4over advantage, what that brings to you and what it's going to be like working with one of the, again, largest trade printers in the US. And then we'll take a stop down and we'll let you ask some questions and we'll answer those for you. So really and truly, one of the biggest factors in the industry is that, print shops are really starting to diversify on what they're able to offer to their customers. So with all the situations going on, like labor shortages, just being able to find good help, find more help to help facilitate your growth, and combine that with, well, we all know about the material shortages that are going on out there. Printers are turning to trade printers like 4over. And by doing so, they're able to produce, well, everything their customer needs, not necessarily in-house, but they can be able to provide it to those customers. And that goes along with the research that we're kind of seeing. So, more than 2/3 of buyers work with multiple print vendors because they got to meet some very specific needs. But in order to continue to see that growth, you really want to be able to capture as much of that customer's revenue as possible. And studies are showing that, the majority of buyers do like a one-stop shop. That's been that key phrase that's been thrown out for years, being that one-stop shop, but you don't always have the ability to produce all of that in-house. So what I want to do is I want to ask, and let's take a small poll here. I'm going to, let's let's launch this poll here. So now, all right, so on your screen, you should have a poll. So we're going to give you about a minute here, talking about some of the major challenges. There's only 4 questions. Take a minute. Let us know. We want to start talking. All right, I see some stuff coming in. Asking, do you outsource print? I think the answer probably should be yes. I think most everybody is doing it, but we want to see what you're talking about. Also, what are your challenges with working with suppliers? Is that supplier API automation critical? Yeah, let's just say that the answer on that one is probably not going to surprise you. And then, are you looking at integrating with the 4over API? So, couple more seconds, a little over half of you starting to answer in. Please take a minute and let's. Oh yeah, now everybody's starting to jump in there. Go ahead, jump in there, answer those questions. We always love to know your feedback. That is the one thing. We can't evolve without hearing from customers, hearing from, people in the industry. We like to know what's going on so that we can continue to evolve as we go along. All right, about 20 more seconds. We've got about 60% of you in here. All right, getting there. All right, last call. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to end the poll and we will share the results. So Dimish, you're going to have to jump up and tell me. I'm sharing my screen. Actually, I'll just give you my screen here. So looks like the majority, 100% of saying 100% we outsource, less than half, 25. There's only a few that say no, we don't outsource. Christopher, we want to be able to talk to those. What are some of the challenges setting up and updating products and pricing? That seems to be the majority. We're going to address that coming up in the demo portion. Submitting the jobs, getting order updates, managing the shipping. That's also going to be a big piece. I mean, obviously, supplier API automation, very critical. The more you can do without those touch points, that's what we're going to talk about. And are you looking to integrate? And yes, overwhelmingly, we have a nice answer there. So this is good. This is exactly what we want to be able to talk about. So when we're talking about integrating 4over products into your current mix of products, what we want to be able to show you is you want to move a little bit further than that, become that one-stop shop. So with this integration, let's talk about how 3 steps to become that one-stop web solution provider. Very simple. It's easy. It's register, import the products, customize and personalize those options. Obviously, assign the markup, and then use OnPrintShop's order management tools to automate that back end and send that order over to 4over for fulfillment to your customer. So what does that really bring to you? Well, it gives you the ability to transform that customer experience, because now you can offer way more than you were able to produce in-house, and your customers' needs aren't limited by your capacity. Gives you a mix of your products along with 4over items, and it streamlines the process by removing some of the human element where we're taking that information, having to manually rekey it, and then find the update. As you just said, a lot, that's what we're looking at, find the update and provide that back to the customer. Where is my product? And you're doing all of this inside of one platform. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let Nimish jump in here. And we're going to talk about, well, we're going to actually let you see what we've developed with OnPrintShop.
Thanks a lot, Trent, for the lovely introduction and the very interesting beginning. And also thank you, Christopher, for attending this webinar live and answering questions that would come end of the webinar. But thanks a lot for being present, and thanks a lot everyone being present and sparing time for this webinar. So I would be focusing on the actual live integrations and the demo. And these are the key features which you can see on the screen, and that we will be covering in this particular webinar, the live webinar. Now here, basically, as Trent mentioned, our focus is like how we can transform the customer experience. So even though we are working with the supplier, how easily and how smooth experience we can have for our end customers ordering on the storefront. Now working with supplier, because supplier has wide range of products, and that is where you want to work with supplier. But then now the challenge is starts like how we can offer those products, as you very well mentioned in the poll as well. That could be the one of the biggest challenge in terms of like how you can have those products seamlessly displayed to your customers. And then if the orders are received, another challenge is like how quickly you can transfer the jobs to your supplier, in this case, the 4over. And then you also want to manage communication in between and the markup and all. So let me show you quickly the actual live sites which we want to present. So the very first thing what we wanted to do with these integrations, and in terms of 4over as well as OnPrintShop team worked in terms of months to do this. They have done, I guess, multiples and several calls in terms of how easy and how better this experience could be for print companies as well as for your end customers. So the very first thing is like you can have this modernized custom storefront for your customers. So for whether you are a small print shops or commercial printer, or you are a print broker, you can launch your online storefront with modern experience. So the complete storefront is a mobile friendly, and you have a lot of control over the content of the site. So you can create a modern storefront. And one of the biggest development what we have done is improving the presentation. So we have created this product personalization module, which allows you to present the product, even change the nomenclature of the 4over products according to your target audience explanation. For example, 4over products, if you see, they're amazingly well done, but that language is understood by the print brokers or resellers or printers who are outsourcing jobs to you, but you are targeting customers like B2C retail customers or corporates. So the biggest challenge in the earlier integration was the nomenclature, but now you have a full control. You can simplify the product. At the same time, whatever, for example, nomenclature 4over uses, you can also overwrite. For example, that I would show you live. For example, run size, you might want to call it quantity. So you can easily change it from the backend, which I will also show you. Now, another biggest benefit. Now, many of you would be a commercial printer and serving large corporates, or you might be a marketing agencies or resellers, and you might have some large, medium to large corporate customers who are having multiple franchises, and they also want to simplify orders. So now with the same storefront, I can also build a private storefront for the B2B customers, and whatever 4over products I assign to them, they can also fulfill it online from the private storefront as well. So you can launch and utilize this 4over product API for your public storefront, targeting to a lot of B2C retail customers. At the same time, you can also build private stores for your large customers. Even you can utilize the 4over products, and you can set up the customer's own template. And then, so that is why we are saying like transforming customer experience, whether you are serving a B2C customers or B2B customers, you can have a single customers and transforming the customer experience. So here I'm showing you multiple categories. So some of the categories we have built on OnPrintShop, and these are all the products coming from the 4over API. So let's go into the backend and let me show you how easily, like why we are saying only 3 steps. So the very first thing in the backend, if you're already a 4over user, then 4over would give you the supplier API access. The only thing you need to do is like in your OnPrintShop, once you integrate 4over, you have to just put your API keys that will be given by the 4over. And then the next thing what it does is like it adds this 4over product module into your backend of OnPrintShop. And the very first thing what you need to do is you can sync all the 4over categories. So many of you might say this is a business card. So business card is actual product, but this is a category for 4over because 4over has a huge the variety of business cards within this category. So we would call these are all the categories of major 4over products. So either it could be a signage product, as Christopher was mentioning that EDM is a popular category. So that category can also be fetched. So whatever key categories you want to display to your storefront, that categories you can sync from the 4over API. That's the very first easy step. And after that, I can create my own custom markup rules. And here we have also created a markup rules based on, for example, percentage, or you can also create certain rules. If I say I have a fixed markup, maybe I want to mark up 20% across all the product, or I can say I want to create a dynamic depending on the price. So if, for example, price is more than $100, for example, markup by 20%. And maybe if the cost is maybe $500, markup by 10%. So you kind of can create multiple rules. If the value is $50, for example, of the total order value, then apply, for example, 25% markup. Or it could be quantity. If they order less quantity, for example, if they buy up to 100 product, 100 quantity, for example, I want to apply markup maybe 20%. If they buy more quantity, either markup can be less or more depending on your strategy. So I can create as many rules I like. So I have created like wide format 50, 40, 30 rule, stationary product 80 and 50 I have created, then flat 50, flat 100. As many as you want to create, you can create and have your own markup master. Now with each category, I can select which particular markup I want to apply. So if I'm applying, maybe this is a wide format product, for example, backlit posters. So I already created a rule, wide format 50, 40, 30. That is based on the price, or that could be based on the quantity. In a business card, for example, I want to apply flat markup, I can also apply. So for each of the category, that markup could be changed. And if I'm not happy with my markup rules, I can still apply my own custom markup as well. Now, the biggest important thing which I would show you is the product personalization. So let me show you, for example, within this business card, what are the options do we have in this particular product category. So this business card is whole category in 4over. So let me show you how big is this category. So in business card, just in 4over, there are like hundreds of different products. So these are all individual products in 4over. 2 into 3.5, 16 point business card is one SKU. So you can see these unique codes. That means it's a unique product for 4over. So 4over, this is the actual product of each and every 4over. So biggest challenge for the 4over customers as well as OnPrintShop customer was how easily we can combine these products and make it easy for our customers. And many of you might not be doing all the possible combination of 4over. You might be offering very few of the combinations. So how can you create multiple products from this category? So now what happens is like I can create my own whole product, or I can create some unique products for my customers. So let me show you what are the options do I have from this category. So the very first thing is like if I want to display this category, then 4over has a lot of options like product type, product category, print method, size. Now, in case if product type is all inclusive, low price and standard, this is exactly what it is displaying in 4over. But I don't want this to be displayed to my customer because my customer do not select whether they want it standard. That is for 4over customers. So what we have done, we have disabled that particular options directly from 4over. So if I show you that product here, we directly see the product from size. Now within that also, for example, you might say, oh, we don't do all the size of 4over. So let's disable, update the groups. And we might say, oh, we don't do all the size. So let us do selected. And let us, for example, only select 2 into 3.5, which is most common size. And maybe we can say we also do square cards, 2 by 5 and 2 by 2. So these are all only 3 options I am to enable in my site. So I refresh it. So only that 3 size would be available for my customers to see it now. So this is the biggest combination we have done. So now automatically, whatever combination this size we're having, which were under that category as a product, that will automatically be disabled. Even when you select the options, for example, only respected options would be displayed. Now, let me show you another good setting. Now, once I come back from this particular, for example, personalization, the next thing what I want to do is I may want to create multiple products. Maybe this is your retail site, so you might want to display them 3 sizes and multiple options. Sometimes you don't do spot UV and you want to disable, you can disable all that. But I may have one corporate customers and he buys a very simple business card and I may not want to display them all the options. So what I can do, I can go into that individual products and I understand that my customer is ordering, for example, this 2 into 3.5 16 point with satin AQ and 2 into 3.5 16 point round corner business card. So I only want to create product for these two combinations. So that product I want to maybe assign to my corporate customer within my corporate storefront because they don't want to select all these sizes and options. So I am creating this one product with these two combinations. So I would call that product as a, for example, business card. So let's put a product name, maybe corporate business card. So now what I'm doing is I am creating multiple products depending on my target audience, retail storefront, corporate storefronts. And now if I click on OPS products, I am showing you the exact how many products we are using from this category. So the whole category is business card. Out of that, we have created more products in OnPrintShop. So business card is one, spot UV card is one, 16-point business card is one. So there are so many different cards we have created from this one category. Now let us go back and let me show you how we can even change the options and titles. Now, 4over has its own nomenclature, which I mentioned, which is easier for us to understand. But what about our end customer? So this is, for example, a run size. So let me give an example right away here. And this was a major challenge because if you display the product as it is, for example, what 4over offers, sometimes your customer may get confused. So we are also allowing you to edit those options. So let me search that run size. And maybe run size, we may want to calculate, for example, a quantity. So we can change that. Even let me show you some other options. For example, you might want to say color spec. Instead of that, sides of print, you can say. So whatever you want to put, for example, I can select it. So let me search that option now in the backend. So now I have a run size. So instead of run size, I should say, for example, quantity. Save it. And let's refresh it, for example. So instead of run size, now it shows quantity. Even I can go inside these options as well, like coating, satin, aqueous. Maybe my customers do not understand. So I can find word, for example, satin here. And then change that option as well. So satin. So these are all the different options what 4over offers. So I can change any of these options. Even for example, thread color, limitation, drill hole. There are so many different options and you can change it the way you like. So that's the second number of the biggest change what we have done from an earlier API. And now let me also explain how the shipping would work, because many of you would also have a lot of your in-house produced products, because if you are a small print shop or commercial printer, you might be doing a lot of things in-house. So you can create as many products you want into OnPrintShop. And you can also utilize the 4over products API. So either if you do a lot of products in-house, you can create those products in OnPrintShop, plus you can combine the 4over products. And when you have those products, customer will also see the shipping automation. So the biggest challenge was calculating the shipping, because now you know that you have certain products done in-house and you also have certain products coming from 4over. So within 4over API, we have also done shipping automation. So we understand that with this each category, our friends at 4overs have even given us the data that which product and which combination is shipped from which 4over location, because 4over has multiple of them. So depending on the quantity, depending on that option, they might have a different shipping location. So now what OnPrintShop will do, OnPrintShop will intelligently understand what combination customer is ordering, what is the quantity, and when they go next, they will get the shipping cost directly from the 4over API. So we are fetching these prices from the 4over, and we are displaying customers to select that 4over shipping option. So whatever 4over charges, the same shipping, for example, we would also charge to the customer. So that is directly coming from the 4over API. And certain products are shipped by you, then the shipping cost would also be added, which is by you, for example. So the accurate shipping cost will always be given to the customer. So customer would pay, for example, the printing cost, whatever markup you have done, they would pay. At the same time, they'd also pay, for example, the shipping. So here, this order, the shipping cost maybe from 4over API is like $40. So the shipping charges are done. Now, when you are giving the shipping to the customers, you might want to mark up. So we also have a markup rules. So sometimes 4over has some shipping cost, and you might want to display some markup cost to the customers. You can apply, for example, conditional markups. If it is below maybe $50, then markup is X. If the shipping cost is high, you don't want to mark up too much, so you can less the markup. Even you can put your handling cost maybe above $40. You might have $5 handling cost because 4over will ship it to you, and then you will ship it to the end customer. So in your storefront, you can configure all that, and you can apply that particular rule for the end customers. Now, the another challenge, and which was the third major challenge, so why we are saying 3 steps, so this is the most important step, is order submission to 4over. Now, if you are getting maybe 10, 20, 30 orders a day, it's very cumbersome downloading all the jobs from your storefronts one by one, go to the 4over account, selecting which particular product and the combination is there, which matches to your customer's order, and then selecting that specific combination in 4over, uploading file. And sometimes even customers are saying we have to keep like 1 or 2 people dedicated only to transfer the jobs to 4over. And when you are managing these many number of orders, and your time should go to customer interactions, growing sales, and not like in this manual order submission. So what we have done here is one intelligent job, which is like 4over order transfer. So this is part of the order section. Now there are 2 options here. If you already use the 4over product, and if you want to do an auto transfer job to 4over, that is also done. For example, in your store, you already know, the system already knows that this business card is directly coming from 4over. And this maybe flyer is also coming from 4over. So we have that unique UID and that product ID, which I was showing you. So system would automatically transfer to 4over. As soon as anybody orders a business card, it will be transferred to 4over with that unique ID. In case, if you are creating your own products that is not part of the 4over API, then you might have to do a manual transfer, because you might call your product in a certain way, but still you want to transfer to 4over, then you have to match. Or that product you might not want to give it to 4over. So in that case, for example, there is a manual transfer. But if I have ordered this particular item, like I just recently ordered while we were on this demo. So this is a business card and this is a flyer. So these are the 2 items. Now, if I go to 4over order transfer, this should be automatically there because it's already a business card and flyers. We are using the same product ID what 4over has given us, and we have created product from the same combination. So here you can already see that flyer and brochure which we created was 4over product this, and business card which I created was 16 point this. So it automatically transferred the job to them. Now, the only thing I need to do is like I can see these are all the active orders. And if I want to transfer directly to the 4over, I can click on it. And then this would go to the 4over and it would get the shipping API. Now here, for example, I can see what customer selected was ground shipping. So it's only $6, but maybe customer calls you back and he might say, I want it maybe quicker. You might change the option again here, and then you can transfer the job. Now, once you transfer the jobs, it will even call the API of a pre-flight. And once that is done, you will see like 4over order details here, for example. So we are doing this test on API, so that may be taking some time. But what I'm showing you here is like once you do this step, it will show you this 4over order details. So that is when you would see that, okay, 4over order has been transferred into the system. And one of the biggest advantages, if you log into your 4over account by going to 4over.com, you will also see that order entry. So I transfer this job successfully now. I can see that order details, this is now an actual 4-over ID. So without any human intervention, on a simple click, I was able to transfer the job. And now the order status updates, I don't have to do it manually. Now, whatever updates 4-over does, automatically that stages will be automatically updated in OnPrintShop, and that will be also auto email to the customer. So we can also trigger auto email. Certain stages you may not want to display to the customer, but certain stages when it is shipped, ready for pickup, you might send an email to the customer. So that is what, once you transfer the job, is done. Now, many of you have a questions, like for example, our customer sent us the file and we realized that file had some kind of issue. So we also have that option. For example, if I go back to that original item and I may understand, okay, customer given us the file which did not match, for example, 4-over pre-flight. So then what I can do is like, I can re-upload that file here as well. So that way, for example, if I want to replace the file, I can. So there is a order design section. So still maybe customers send us the file, but then that was not appropriate. You find out that there was an issue in the file. So I can upload the new file, and then that file I can transfer to the 4-over. So even if you understand in between, there is some file check has to be done, you can still utilize this particular portion and then edit the file. So this is what we are talking about, the 3 simple steps. Just to summarize, I would come back to this section again. Like, one is the presentation of the site. You have a full control how your website should lay out, the categories, the full content management. It's a completely mobile friendly sites. You decide what are your major categories, and within that category, you can now start pulling the 4-over products. And here we have discussed 3 important things. One is fetching the 4-over category, creating the personalized product, mark up the price, and personalize the 4-over option labels that is as per our target audience. And then we discussed like how easily we can transfer the jobs to 4-over. So that is why like we are very excited to showcase you that how easily these 3 steps can help you transform the customer experience and become one-stop solution provider. And I'm happy to invite our friend Chris here to share the 4-over advantage and answer any questions you guys have. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Namesh. And thank you to Trent as well. Really appreciate being in front of your customers and hopefully a handful of prospects for you as well. Really good to be with you all today. So thank you. I'm going to start with by answering a question that I saw posted by Steve. He was asking how this is a little bit different than PrinterBridge. PrinterBridge is a white label site that 4-over developed a number of years ago. I don't want to spend a lot of time there. My neighbors across the street, probably like you, I'm working remotely. I have been for 2.5 years. They're doing some roofing. And if we think about this analogy, that the hammer that a roofer uses is special for that task. It's not going to be the same hammer that you're going to use for framing. It's probably not the same hammer that you're going to put a picture up on your wall inside your living room. So Steve and the rest of attendees, the answer is that OnPrintShop has created a unique UI UX that allows you to really manage your customer relationships differently. PrinterBridge filled a very specific slot, but OnPrintShop, Namesh kind of went over a lot of the customization that does affect that user experience. And that is why we're so excited after having many discussions over the course of years to be at a really good spot together with the OnPrintShop team. And I would say, I'm not sure how many are current 4-over customers, but let me touch on a couple things. Our mission as a company is to simplify and transform print. We started this over 20 years ago, where we took this concept of procuring and managing print, but doing it through an e-commerce engine. And I think you would all agree that, especially in the past 3 years, going through COVID, post-COVID, we recognized that there were some soft spots around the human resource, around hiring, around efficiencies within our own organizations that we really need to address well. And that's what excites me about today, and being able to get to this place with the integration, because I think it is all about simplifying and transforming your business in positive ways using the OnPrintShop front end, and having an execution and implementation engine via 4over. So very quickly, we're talking about 4over as a strategic national support mechanism for you. So that means that by having multiple facilities across the US, you're going to service your customers really quickly and get them to market quickly. It's going to expand your footprint. So although you might have traditionally serviced customers in one geographic area, with this, you can now reach anywhere in the US and really appear to be a national organization yourself. And again, it simplifies a complex process where typically you'd have to run through a lot of different specs. You'd have to manage all of those. Instead, the OnPrintShop team has given you the ability to name things the way that your customers are going to, react positively, things that are going to be familiar to them. And so there's a simplification method. Obviously, with us, we are that one-stop shop, which enables you to then become a unisource for your customer base. So over 250,000 different product configurations, and these really are the most popular products when it comes to small, medium, and large businesses' marketing departments. So it's marketing essentials, it is signs and banners, it is mailed products, just to name a few. And these are the things that, as a rep for 30 years in commercial print, I was traditionally doing this with PDFs and lots of emails back and forth. So we've simplified that. You can take that to market really quickly. If you're not a 4over customer, or even if you are, I would just remind us all about resources. Now, these would traditionally, right now, I think, be on the 4over front end systems, but templates and FAQs, where you want to just make sure that you're building those files correctly. I know the OnPrintShop team has consumed some of our templates as well. So you can go and place those orders with confidence, knowing that they're going to conform to the bleed, trim, and safety for a predictable and repeatable result. As a 4over customer, even though you're using the OnPrintShop front end, you would still have access to our customer experience team. So if you had a question about an order, we have phone, email, and chat 13 hours a day. We've got two groups, one on the east part of US and one in the west part of the US. So we're really covering the day, Monday through Friday, really well, and being able to support you should any questions come up.
So thank you very much. We look forward to talking to you. We look forward to working with you. Thanks for joining with OnPrintShop and 4over.
Thank you.